Alright, today we're going to be doing hip flexion. So, first you're going to have the patient lie down like this. We're going to be focusing on the sagittal plane. And so you're going to have the fulcrum in line with the greater trochanter, right here, right around here. The stationary arm in line with the lateral midline of the pelvis. And I'm going to have my patient bend his knee as much as he can. Moving arm's going to follow his knee up. And he has about 90 degrees of flexion, which is a little bit below average, and the average is around 100 to 120.
Go.
Alright, next we're going to do hip extension. So just like before, I'm going to put the fulcrum on the greater trochanter, right around here. Have the stationary arm in line with the midline of the pelvis. And then I'm going to have my patient lift his leg up as high as he can. And he's got about 20 degrees of hip extension. You can put your leg down now. And that falls within the normal range of a hip extension from like 0 to 20. Alright, so next we're going to do hip abduction. So first I'm going to put the fulcrum along the ASIS, which is right here, these hip bones. I'm going to palpate the hip bones right here. I'm going to have the stationary arm across the contralateral the pelvis. I'm going to have the moving arm aligned with the leg. I'm going to have the leg shift out to the left a little bit. Slowly follow it. And he has about 40 degrees range of motion, which falls in the normal range. Alright, so next we're going to be doing hip adduction. So just like with abduction, we're going to have the fulcrum placed over the left ASIS. We're going to have the stationary arm across the contralateral ASIS. And the moving the arm aligned with the interior of the patella. So I have my patient move his leg inward, follow the degrees, and he's got about 40 degrees of range of motion, so that falls within the normal range. Alright, so next we're going to do hip internal and external rotation. So I'm going to place the fulcrum right in the midline of the patella. I'm going to have the moving arm stationary with the malleoli, and then he's going to move his leg externally to the outside, and he's got about 30 degrees range of motion externally, and I'm going to have him rotate inward, and that is actually also 30 degrees range of motion, so that falls within the normal range as well.
We're going to be measuring knee flexion. We're going to put the fulcrum of the grammarometer on the lateral epicondyle, out there. We're going to put the stationary arm on the greater trochanter. And then the moving arm is going to be pointing to the lateral malleolus. I'm going to have my patient flex his knee as much as he can while leaving his foot on the table. Can you go any further? Okay. And that's going to be about 110 degrees of knee flexion. The normal range of motion is 135 to 150, so that's a little below average. But now we're going to be measuring knee extension, and just like before, we're going to put the fulcrum on the lateral epicondyle with the stationary arm pointing to the greater trochanter, and the moving arm pointing to the lateral malleolus. But in order to get an accurate reading, we're going to put a towel, or in this case a sweater, right under the patient's ankle so that he can fully extend his knee. And then I'm going to have you bring your knee down as far as you can. Is that as far as you can go?
Yes.
Okay. And that is going to be 0 degrees of knee extension, which is just about average, with the normal range of motion for knee extension being 0 to 10.
All right, now we're gonna be doing ankle dorsiflexion. You're gonna want your fulcrum lined up with the lateral malleolus. Your stationary arm will be lined up with the fibular head, and your moving arm is gonna be lined up with the area is gonna be parallel with the fifth metatarsal. And I'm gonna have you bring your toes toward the ceiling, high as you can. And that's gonna be approximately 5 degrees of dorsiflexion, and normal range of motion is going to be about 20 degrees, so you're a little below that. Just a little.
Go.
Now we're going to be doing the normal range of motion for plantar flexion, which is 40 to 50 degrees, and you're going to line up the fulcrum again on the lateral malleolus. Have the stationary arm lined up with the fibular head, and the lateral, or the moving arm lined up with the lateral, or parallel to the lateral fifth metatarsal. And I'm gonna have you point your toes toward the ground. And that's gonna be about 40 degrees of plantar flexion. The next thing we're gonna be measuring is ankle inversion and eversion. And the fulcrum's gonna be lined up in between the malleoli. The stationary arm is going to be lined up with the tibial head, and the moving arm is going to be lined up with the second metatarsal. And I'm going to have you do inversion first, and that'll be about 25 degrees, which falls within the normal range of 30 to 35. Now I'm going to have you do eversion, which is going to be about 45 degrees, which is well above the normal range, 15 to 20.